a series on FX.
I'll pull up the actors.
Called Fargo 4. Now, Fargo is loosely based. Its formulation and how it plays out is loosely based on the Coen brothers' Fargo, right? The original film that came out in 95, 96, called Fargo,
Great film.
Right? So, Fargo 4, originally it was supposed to come out on April 19th, 2020, but due to COVID, its release was pushed back to September 27th, 2020. And it did not disappoint. We have been waiting for this program to come out.
Forever.
Now, if you haven't seen, you don't have to, because there's 4 installments, which means there's 4 seasons of Fargo on FX. You don't have to watch the previous seasons to know what's happening with any of the seasons, right? You don't have to watch 1 through 3 to know what's going on with 4. Other than it's happening in Fargo, North Dakota, the Midwest, right? So you don't need that because each story stands alone in its storytelling, right? So it stands alone. But what is good to do is to watch the original film Fargo to see where it gets its quirkiness from, how it gets its intro, because there's an intro that we're going to get to in it. So Chris Rock plays Lloyd Cannon. Emery, I think I got her.
Is it Crutchfield?
Crutch, yeah. I left the C out. Crutchfield. She plays Ethelrida Pearl Smutney, right? Jason Schwartzman plays Jasta Fada. Salvatore Esposito plays Gaetano Fata. Jeremy Harris plays Gene Biddle, and Glenn Turman plays Dr. Senator. Those are the main characters. Then we can go through some secondary characters real quick to go through.
Okay, let's see. Ben Whishaw, Jack Houston, Jesse Buckley. I think Jesse Buckley is that nurse rancher.
Oh yeah, listen.
She's no joke.
Listen, the nurse in this, she is a psychopath mixed with
crazy
sociopath, which means she doesn't think that anything that she does is wrong, right? I mean, she really doesn't think that anything that she does is wrong. So at the bottom, we're playing the trailer. It's the 1950s Fargo, North Dakota, right? And as now, American blacks find immigrants invading, taking up spaces which belong to American blacks. Enter Lloyd Cannon, Chris Rock, to negotiate his family's place within this ever-changing world, now run by an Italian family, narrated through the eyes of a 16-year-old. Will Lloyd be successful or fall victim to Fargo and Fargo 4? That's our synopsis, right? That's our synopsis. Fargo is an anthology series, crime drama, comedy, due to situations. It's not funny because of it being buffoonish in any kind of way. It's funny because you will see situations that you say, hey, my cousin would have done that, or I would have reacted the same way, and you chuckle. created by Noah Hawley, right?
Right.
Hawley, right? Structured much like the original film Fargo by the Coen brothers, right? That's Fargo. That's the original cover for the Fargo, right? Fargo 4 series, much like 1 through 3, follows desperate characters. But what sets Fargo 4 apart is, though still telling a story based on true events, it is the American black audience. The American black audience gets to finally watch a story about two crime syndicates where the black characters are not secondary. Lloyd and his syndicate are the focal point of the story. Right?
Yep.
So that's what Fargo, this particular Fargo, is about, right? And what's your thoughts on this particular Fargo 4 before we move forward?
You know what? I was looking forward to seeing Fargo 4 after seeing the previews, right? The trailer. So because of this COVID, it slowed things down, period, in Hollywood films, movies, TV series, everything, right? Mm-hmm. So when Fargo 4, when they did give us the release date, I was looking forward to it. And what I loved is they dropped 2 episodes, right? So we were able to watch 2 episodes back to back. Mm-hmm. So of course Chris Rock did not disappoint because he is a great actor, right? Mm-hmm. And what I love about this Fargo 4 is that I love how he's a crime lord syndicate, but he carries himself with dignity. You know what it reminds me of? Because I haven't seen a film like this since Hoodlum.
Oh,
with
yes.
Lawrence Fishburne.
That's right.
Right.
That's right.
So I love seeing these American black men, mm-hmm. businessmen, mm-hmm. carry themselves with dignity, right? And businessmen, you know, because you'll see in Fargo, he, you know, not to give anything away, but just like any other businessman, he goes to the bank, right, for a loan because he is a businessman. Uh-huh. But he carries himself throughout.
No, actually, he wasn't coming for a loan. He was coming.
It was a partnership.
No, he was coming for a business, bringing a business opportunity.
Yeah, so a partnership
to a Caucasian bank,
right?
And they did not want to take up on it. So,
right,
it tells certain uncomfortable truths,
right,
about it. He wasn't coming for a loan. He was coming to bring a business opportunity.
So a partnership with the bank.
It had to do with credit because for those who didn't know,
right.
American black stores were the first to offer credit to their customers.
Right.
And he was wanting to expand.
Right.
He looked at a situation where he could expand out.
Right.
And he needed the use of a bank, of a Caucasian bank, to spread his business, his credit out into other market places, and
which he should have been able to do because this bank that he went to, this institution, other businessmen, American businessmen, traditionally go to the bank, to the institution, to work together, and he was looking to partnership, and because he had already have banks.
He has a bank.
He has a bank
as the story
multiple
is told.
banks, right? As the story is told. But I don't know. I just love how him and his people, how they stick together, and you'll see it. I don't want to give anything away, but Fargo 4 is good.
Yeah, Fargo
is good. I'm looking forward to watching episode 3 tonight. I think shows like these do well because number one, people are hungry for factual history, right? And American blacks are also like, you know, hungry for, we want smart storylines. We want great acting. We don't want any stereotypical shucking and jiving, like they do in some films.
Right.
Like these films are well done.
Well done.
And there's no shucking, there's no jiving. There's all of these characters. They have their own personalities, just like the American Black diaspora. We have all types of personalities.
They have agency.
There we go, agency, right? And just great storytelling, right? And we're getting, like you said, like pieces of our history woven in, and well woven in, right? And just great writing, because we watched these shows, and like when we were watching like Fargo, right? And we had to like rewind just to hear some of the
Glenn Turman delivers a line.
Yes, we like had to rewind it to hear that line again.
That's
we was like, woo, great writing.
It's in episode 2, and it has to do with a packing plant, right? Somehow the Italians have moved in, and blacks have been in this society, and all of these different immigrants come and have their shot. And American blacks at this point in 1950 say enough, and they move in. So this is a great story, Fargo. The genius of Fargo 4 is told from the remembrances or the memory of a 16-year-old girl, Ethel Ryder Pearl Smutman.
American black girl.
Right. I get Smutman. I'm looking at the wrong name. I can't read my writing. This is horrible. Let me see. Her name is Smutney.
Okay.
Right? Okay. Ethel Pearl Smutney, right? Okay. Portrayed by Emery Crutchfield. That's right. And it's so small. An American black girl whose family owns a crematorium, right?
Right.
A funeral home. Her world connects with Lois after the family falls on financial trouble. Her aunt and her aunt's girlfriend stop by, and a psychopathic, sociopathic nurse for a neighbor takes interest enough in her to bring an apple pie for the family to enjoy.
What is it when people are minding their own business? Like this little girl, right? Young black girl, 16. Is just like minding her own business, reading. She was looking through her book, and here comes this crazy nurse. But prior to that, well, I don't want to give it away, but there's an introduction before the crazy nurse walked up, And we was just talking about, like, the other day, right? I was outside. The weather's been beautiful, right? So I'm like sweeping the stairs because these birds, they just decide to poop. So I'm minding my own business, and then this woman just like has to stop. What am I doing? Why am I doing this? I'm just like, just Karen, please, just move on. I'm just trying to take in this beautiful fall day.
Because you're watching these programs. These programs also help if you are blind to the fact of the danger that it is when somebody Caucasian.
Like literally just minding your own business in your own space. But anyway.
Your own space, right? So, the writing on this is superb.
Okay.
It's a delight. The tossing and turns. The tosses and turns are the main ingredient.
Right.
With true events thrown in to the roux. To taste the gumbo is to be hooked on the edge of your seat. So let's break this down. Cinematography, the way the story is told, the cuts, the edits, the camera angles, that's a 10. Storyline through line, that's a 10. Character arc, 10. Acting skill, emoting. But believe me, the genius of the writer, Noah, the creator and his writing team, because he has a writing room. He's the creator, but there's a writing room, and the genius of the writing room to tell this story through the voice and the memory of the 16-year-old. Beautifully done. And the actress who portrays her, I believe, just researching it, she is older than that, but she plays
she looks like
16.
She looks like a little teenager.
That's right. She
Great
plays
acting.
it so it is genius and it's believable, right?
It is.
Character arc is a 10. Acting skills, emoting 10. Wardrobe, cars, set design, taking us back to 1950s, 40s, 30s. Fargo, North Dakota.
Okay.
Drama, comedy. Because of the situation, no buffoonery, but because of the situation, how serious the situation is, that's the type of comedy I like. That's the type of comedy I write.
Yes,
like
smart.
when you watch The Shifter or Situations or Back in Cleveland, the trilogy films, on demand, on Vimeo, you see that the writing is intelligent, the characters are well fleshed out, and it's laughs because of the drama that you see. It's no buffoonery, right?
You know what I love about like all of the different episodes of Fargo, what they all have in common is the Midwest, right? So all of this is happening in different Midwest states. So what would be
No, it's not. It's only happening. It's saying it's happening in different Midwest states. It says Fargo.
Like this episode, the 4th season set in 1950 is in Kansas City, but the previous one, the one we saw today, because we saw it years ago, the one we saw today took place in North Dakota, right?
Well, I mean, you know what? Okay, well, there's a confusion here because the write-up is saying one thing, but when you open up, it says Fargo 1950. So I don't know, maybe the story happened in Kansas City, but when you open up the story, it says Fargo 1950. Well, actually, it starts with the 20s, 30s, and 40s because the Italians take over in the 40s, then 1950, then it comes to the American blacks and it says Fargo. So maybe
I'm just waiting for them to get to Ohio if we doing the Midwest.
Right. So I mean, I don't know. So they're just picking up stories, but so that's a confusion there. But I'm just going by what it's putting on the screen, right? Fargo as a character is a 10. Story beats is a 10. The story beats what leads to another point in the story. Something that's put down, that's a beat that re-emerges later in the story. That's a 10. Believability is a 10. The historical facts is a 10. What would you give Fargo for?
I would give it a 10, like you said, because the acting, great acting, led by Chris Rock, right? I love, you know what? I love the costume and design because everything just the period piece. I mean, but the cars, the clothes, the hair. I mean, because you watch some films and you're like, well, it doesn't really look like it's from that period. The clothes and the style, but they hit it like right on the nose. You feel like you have been pulled back into the 50s. Oh, and the music. Did we talk about the music?
Yeah, the music is good.
The music
soundtrack
is really, really nice. So I would definitely overall give it a 10. And I can't wait to see episode 3.
Yeah. So well I'm going to give it most definitely Fargo 4 is a 10. Make sure that you go back and watch Fargo, the original movie by the Coen brothers, and then you will see how it sets up, and then watch season 4, and then go back and watch season 1, 2, and 3